The road to the Final Four ending in Atlanta for the third time ever, 5 years ago with Maryland taking it all, and 30 years ago with Marquette bringing home the title. Both those teams with those same hopes still alive. Hey, how are you? Jason Horwitz. Glad you could join us in the paint, presented by the U.S. Army. Go strong. And a man who always takes it to the paint and going strong, Bill Raftery, joining us on the phone. Bill will be in New Orleans for the great action that'll take place down there. And Bill, I gotta ask you, because we're gonna get into Florida in a little bit, but you were next to Joakim Noah when he was doing his little shimmy there after winning the SEC title. Did you try to imitate that at all?
All I could think of was Al McGuire a few years ago dancing, and I forget who the kids were. It may have been Syracuse. No, my moves are very limited. Occasionally on St. Patrick's Day, a little Irish jig. That's the limit of my movement. But I was in awe. My goodness, what energy that kid has.
Bill, maybe we'll throw you a little two-step or a jig here or there. All right, let's get into Florida, because you saw him play in the SEC tournament, and it was a great run down there. You know, they really dominated competition. We've talked about Florida before on this show, but, last year they picked it up in the tournament and carried it over to an NCAA title. This year, a one seed for the first time ever. Do you think this Florida team has that same momentum going into the tournament as they did last season?
Well, they have more going in because they really struggled coming down the stretch and barely got by South Carolina in the final, and they were under the radar totally. And now this is a team that they've got the target, and they succumbed a little bit after they secured the SEC championship regular season and sort of fell asleep a little bit. I think emotionally they were spent. But now it looks like they've got it all back. I mean, all the pieces are there. Torian Green's making that hide-and-seek three and running the show with great efficiency. We know about the up-front rotations, as good as it gets in college basketball now, with Richard coming off the bench. And you mentioned Joakim and Al Horford and Corey Brewer. I mean, this is a legit front line. So they've got some great responses. And Humphrey was hugged in the championship game against Arkansas, and they played without him for quite a while. And then finally, when they broke through and pounded it in, he got some open looks. So they have so many answers, and defensively they're extraordinary, something that's overshadowed by their efficiency on the other end.
So with all that said, Bill, what is the key to actually knocking off the Gators?
Well, bring a lot of talent. Play hard totally for each trip. Force them to play a little more half court. Make sure you take good shots so you don't present run-out opportunities. Under pressure, pound them occasionally, and yet play some half-court, too. Don't go all the way to the rim for a shot block or a run-out. And having said all of that, there's only a few teams who could do it. So they're very much in the hunt, obviously.
Well, that second-round matchup will be against the winner of Arizona-Purdue, another game that you'll see down in New Orleans. And you said have a lot of talent. Arizona definitely has it, but it's a team that doesn't play defense. Your thoughts on this matchup here between Arizona, a team that wants to get out and run the floor, against a team that wants to take the air out of the ball in Purdue? Yeah,
Purdue will bite you with an occasional push. They're a team that does value the defensive end of the floor, having been a disciple of Gene Katie's. Matt Painter does a great job on that end of the floor. But, they got some people who can do some damage. Landry presents a real problem, I think, defensively for Arizona.